Hey, it's me again. I'm just doing a quick vlog on a new journey that I'm about to begin. Really, I'm about to begin it this morning. And really, it's not entirely new because I've done this before, but it's always a new journey because you want to approach it with a fresh outlook and with excitement for the intended parents. So if you haven't figured it out by now, or if you haven't seen any of my other videos, I am talking about surrogacy. And so this video is going to be about how I came about knowing about surrogacy and why I specifically chose to do it. In my next video, I'm going to go into the different types of surrogacy and what some of the controversial issues and thoughts are regarding it and how I feel about that. So in terms of me, I never really thought about surrogacy. For me, I did think about fostering, and I was a foster parent at the time when I heard about surrogacy. I was currently in nursing school, and at the time I was going through clinicals, and I came across a professor who had been a surrogate. And essentially, as I was telling her about myself and just my background and my love for children and for animals, she said, "You know what? You would really be a great surrogate." And I said, at first I was kind of taken aback. And she was like, "You have a very giving spirit. You are very focused. You're mature. You have a lot of drive. And it seems like you're a strong person. And I think you'd be able to really help out some families." And I believe she had 5 children of her own, and I believe she had 1 or 2 surrogate babies. So I went and I took that with a grain of salt. I went online, I looked it up, and it felt like, this might be a good match for me because with fostering, people always ask me, "Is it so hard for you to give up children? Is it so hard? Is there an emotional attachment?" And I said, when you come across children, even if it's a stranger's child, you always admire the child, and you think they're cute, and you hope you see them again, or you hope to see them grow and maybe see them in a few years or something like that. But do I have a feeling of wanting to keep each and every foster child? No. And it's not because of any behavioral issues or any flaw in the child. It's just simply understanding what the goals of our relationship are. And when you go into foster parenting, you don't go in with the mindset that you're going to keep the child. You go in with the mindset that you're going to not only take care of the child, but essentially take care of the family as well. You're going to help with the reunification process, and you're going to walk alongside this family through whatever they're going through, because there's always a reason why a child is removed from the home. So you do not want to have an emotional attachment. You want to be able to show emotion and provide emotional support, but you don't want an attachment where you're stuck feeling like you're obligated to keep a child, or that you're going to fight for that to happen, because it's just not the goal. Now, if that does happen, then great. Like, I have an adopted daughter. And so, that's great because I have a great relationship with her biological family, because again, I walked alongside them the whole way, and they had every opportunity to get her back. And unfortunately, that didn't pan out for them. Even still, we see them every holiday. They can fully participate in her life. They do visitation with her. I go out of my way to drive up to an hour to go and meet with them. So it just depends on what type of person you are and how emotionally ready you are. And I think another aspect of fostering that kind of translates into surrogacy is that idea of not really feel the idea of not only altruism, meaning selflessness, but also feeling complete already, meaning I have 3 beautiful children. I love children but I don't really want any more right now. So I think that helps too. I've seen a lot of military wives who, they've had a child before, their husband's away, or, working, or they're on a base. And it's just one of those things where you're not in the mindset of having more or expanding your family right now, but you're fertile, you're healthy, you can carry a child. It just doesn't necessarily have to be your own. And so for me, having a sense of completion and not feeling like you are going to be pursuing additional children really helps, because it just kind of gives you the mindset that you really don't want to keep the baby. So that's very important. And the same thing goes with fostering. It's not that that if you're presented with the option of keeping a baby that you wouldn't. It's just the fact that that's just not the goals. It's not the goals. If that happens, then great. But if it doesn't, then you're fully prepared mentally for that, and you can be a part of the healing process. And with surrogacy, you can be a part of the growth. You help this child to grow, and then you pass it to its parents so that they can continue that process and they can continue to live their lives and they can achieve their goals, which is to build their family. So that's how I heard of surrogacy. That is how I found out about it. And that is how I started to do research and decide that it was something that I would pursue. Now, the next thing I'll talk about is at that point where I found that I wanted to actually do it, I looked into asking about, who I could go to. And this specific person gave me an agency that they worked with. I had never heard of this agency. They were actually in South Florida. I won't give out the name, but this particular agency or law office, they were on TV before. They had a good reputation. And when I called, they were very responsive. They were just very sweet people. And I felt like there was a good connection there. I was getting good vibes, not the rude receptionist, busy office vibes. I was getting the small office, we're here to listen, we're here to answer your question type of vibes. And that's what I needed. I needed that reassurance and that level of expertise, really, as a first time, a first time candidate who would be applying. So the next step was to put in an application. And I said, okay, I'm going to put in an application. If they don't want to, use me as a surrogate, or they don't want to accept me into their agency, then that's fine. I mean, I would feel like that's just fate, and it wasn't anything that I was going to cry over. So I sent in my application, my last pap smear, all about myself and my family, why I chose to be a surrogate, my health history, my family history, and just also what type of information I would want the family that I would match with to have. So that's another big part about surrogacy. You think that it's just renting a womb, which is one of those taboo terms, but it's not. You really truly match with a family who has your same likes and interests. And there's certain things that are hard boundaries and certain things that are soft boundaries, certain things that you can be flexible on, and certain things that you would say, no, I would never do that in this instance, or I would not feel comfortable doing this. So in my next video, I will explore the different types of surrogacy. I'll talk about some of those boundaries and some of those aspects of being a surrogate that you might be comfortable with, and certain things that you might not. And then I'll talk about some of the controversial topics that we've seen in surrogacy.